The Lost Star of Pinehill. The town of Pinehill and the family journey. Nestled among snow-capped mountains and tall pine trees, the town of Pinehill looked like something out of a Christmas card. Each December, Pinehill transformed into a winter wonderland. Twinkling lights lined the rooftops, the scent of cinnamon and pine mingled in the crisp air, and the townspeople bustled about in cheerful anticipation of the annual Christmas Eve tree lighting. At the center of the town square stood an enormous evergreen, so tall it seemed to tickle the clouds, decorated with ornaments made by the children of Pinehill and crowned by a star that shimmered brighter than any other light. The star was more than just a decoration. For generations, it had been the heart of Pinehill's celebrations, a symbol of hope, unity, and the magic of the season. Every year, children would gather with their families, clutching mugs of cocoa, waiting for the moment when the mayor would place the star atop the tree and the entire square would erupt in cheers. It was said that whoever looked at the star on Christmas Eve and made a wish would find their heart's desire granted in the coming year. This year, the Carter family was making the long drive through winding mountain roads to celebrate Christmas with Grandma May, who lived in a cozy cottage just outside Pinehill. The Carters, Mom Anna, Dad David, 12-year-old Ellie, and her 9-year-old brother Ben, had been looking forward to the trip for weeks. Ellie, in particular, was eager to see her grandmother and to show Ben the magical tree lighting for the first time. The car was filled with laughter and the sound of holiday music as they wound their way through the snowy landscape. Outside, thick flakes drifted down, dusting the world in white. Inside, the family sang along to their favorite carols, and May's homemade fudge, wrapped in foil, sat waiting in the back seat. "I can't wait to show you the star, Ben," Ellie exclaimed, her eyes shining. "It's even more beautiful than the pictures. Grandma says it's been on the tree since she was a little girl." Ben grinned, pressing his nose to the window to watch the snow swirl in the headlights. "Do you think we'll get to make a wish on it?" "Of course," Anna said, reaching back to squeeze his hand. "That's what makes Christmas in Pinehill so special." As the mountains rose higher and the snow thickened, the Carter family's excitement grew. None of them knew that this Christmas would be unlike any other, and that soon they would be part of a Pinehill legend all their own. The Carter family's laughter and singing filled the car as they navigated the twisting roads that led up the mountain. Outside, the snow was falling faster now, thick flakes swirling in the headlights and gathering on the winding road. David gripped the steering wheel a little tighter, his smile fading into a look of concern as the car began to slow on the icy incline. Anna glanced at him, sensing his unease. "Should we stop and wait for the storm to pass?" she asked quietly, not wanting to worry the children. "Let's see if we can make it a bit further," David replied, his voice calm but tense. "We're not too far from Grandma May's." Ellie and Ben, oblivious to the growing storm, pressed their faces to the windows, watching the world outside turn into a blur of white. The music on the radio faded into static as the wind howled louder, rattling the car. Suddenly, the tires spun, and the car lurched to the side, skidding gently into a snowbank. David eased his foot off the gas and sighed. "That's it. We're stuck." Anna tried to reassure the kids. "Don't worry, everyone. We're safe, and we're together." They bundled into their warmest coats and hats, gathered their luggage, and stepped out into the swirling snow. The wind bit at their cheeks as they trudged up the road, searching for shelter. Just as Anna began to worry that they might be lost, a dim light glimmered through the trees. "Look!" Ben shouted, pointing ahead. Through the snowy haze, a rustic log cabin appeared, a small lantern glowing in the window. Relief washed over the family as they hurried to the door. David knocked, and a friendly voice called out from within. "Come in, come in. The storm's a wild one tonight." Inside, the Carter family was greeted by Mrs. Thompson, a kind woman who ran the cabin as a shelter for travelers caught by the weather. The cabin was warm and inviting, with a crackling fire, cozy quilts, and the scent of fresh bread in the air. Several other stranded families sat around the fireplace, sharing stories and sipping hot cocoa, "You're safe here until the storm passes," Mrs. Thompson assured them. Christmas Eve in Pinehill always brings a bit of magic, even in the wildest weather. As the Carters settled in, Ellie and Ben found themselves comforted by the company of new friends. Outside, the wind howled on, but inside the cabin, hope and warmth glowed brighter than any storm. Morning dawned pale and quiet. The storm finally spent. The world outside the cabin was blanketed in deep, pristine snow, sparkling under the soft winter sun. Inside, the travelers awoke to the smell of cinnamon rolls baking and the gentle murmur of voices. Ellie and Ben hurried to the window, hoping to see a clear path to Grandma May's cottage. After breakfast, Mrs. Thompson gathered everyone in the main room. "I have some news from town," she announced, holding a slip of paper delivered by a neighbor who had braved the early snow. "The mayor has called for all able hands to help. The star from the town Christmas tree is missing." A gasp rippled through the room. The Carters exchanged worried glances. Ellie's heart skipped a beat. How could Christmas in Pinehill go on without the star? Mrs. Thompson continued, "It was last seen last night, glowing atop the tree. This morning, it was gone, and there are strange tracks in the snow. The mayor is asking for volunteers to help search." Ben tugged at Ellie's sleeve, his eyes wide with concern. "We have to help. Maybe we can find it." David nodded, resolute. "We're part of Pinehill now, at least for this Christmas. Let's help however we can." The families bundled up, determined to join the search. Outside, the townspeople were already gathering, their spirits undampened by the cold. Some had sleds, others shovels, and everyone wore the same look of determination. The town square felt empty without the star, but Ellie noticed something else in the air, a sense of unity and hope. Children and adults alike spread out, calling to one another as they searched for clues. Ellie and Ben teamed up with two local children, Emma and Lucas, and together they followed the strange tracks leading away from the tree. As the group trudged through the snow, Ellie glanced back at her parents, who joined the search with the other adults. The adventure had begun, and though the star was missing, Ellie felt something special stirring beneath the snow and silence, a Christmas magic she'd never known before. Ellie, Ben, Emma, and Lucas huddled together at the edge of the town square, their breath puffing in the cold morning air. The tracks, a winding trail of deep prints, larger than any boot, led away from the tree and disappeared into the trees beyond the main road. The children exchanged determined glances, each feeling the weight of the missing star and the hope of Pinehill on their shoulders. Across the square, adults coordinated search parties, mapping out the town and nearby woods. David and Anna joined a group heading toward the river, while Mrs. Thompson and several others planned to search the old mill. But Ellie and her friends couldn't shake the feeling that the strange tracks held the key. "We should follow them," Ellie whispered, her heart thumping. "If we find the star, we can save Christmas for everyone." Emma nodded. "My dad says sometimes animals come down from the hills after a storm, but these tracks look different." Lucas, the most adventurous, grinned. "Let's go. If we stick together, we'll be fine." The children told Mrs. Thompson where they were headed, promising to stay close and look out for one another. Then, bundled in scarves and boots, they set off into the woods, following the trail as it wound between snow-laden pines. The forest was quiet, except for the creak of branches heavy with snow, and the distant sound of voices from town. As they walked, Ben pointed out little clues, a tuft of fur on a bush, a bit of torn ribbon snagged on a branch. Maybe the star was taken by an animal, Ben wondered aloud. Or maybe someone else needed its magic. Ellie considered this as they pressed deeper into the woods. The tracks veered toward a frozen creek, then looped back toward the hills. Each step felt like an adventure, and though the cold stung their cheeks, their spirits stayed high. Suddenly, Emma stopped short. "Look," she said, pointing to a glimmering shard of glass peeking from a snowbank. Carefully, the children brushed away the snow to reveal a broken ornament, one that matched those from the town's tree. Lucas grinned. "We're on the right track." As the sun climbed higher, Hope grew in the children's hearts. They pressed on, determined to solve the mystery and bring the lost star home, unaware of the greater adventure that awaited them deeper in the wintry woods. The children's breath formed little puffs as they marched deeper into the woods, the snow crunching beneath their boots. Ellie kept her eyes on the winding tracks, while Ben and Lucas scanned the trees for more clues. Emma, always the most careful, marked their trail by tying bits of red yarn to low branches, her mother's idea for never getting lost. For a while, the forest seemed endless, each tree dusted with snow and silence. But soon, they heard the soft gurgle of the frozen creek and followed it until they came to a fallen log where another glittering shard of ornament waited for them. Ben knelt to examine it, brushing off the snow. "It really is from the town tree," he confirmed, holding it up to the winter sunlight. "But why would it be all the way out here?" As if in answer, a sudden sound made them freeze, a gentle rustling in the underbrush, followed by a flash of brown fur. The children huddled together, their hearts pounding, but it was only a deer, picking its way carefully through the snow. It paused, blinking large, gentle eyes at them, then bounded off in the direction of the tracks. Lucas grinned. "Maybe it's showing us the way." With renewed excitement, the children pressed on. The tracks grew fresher, and soon they found more evidence: a scrap of golden ribbon, a peppermint candy wrapper, and most telling of all, a tiny piece of the star's silver frame. Ellie picked it up, her hands trembling. "We're close. I can feel it." The woods began to thin, and the children found themselves at the edge of a clearing. In the center stood a small, snow-covered cottage, smoke curling from its chimney. The tracks led straight to the front door. The children looked at one another, uncertain. "Should we knock?" Emma whispered. Ellie nodded, taking a deep breath. Together, they approached the cottage. Before they could reach the door, it creaked open, and an old man stepped out, bundled in a woolen coat with a long white beard. His eyes sparkled with kindness and a hint of mischief. "Lost something, have you?" he asked, his voice warm and gentle. "Or perhaps you've come to find something that was never really lost at all?" The children exchanged puzzled glances, but felt reassured by the man's gentle smile. "We're looking for the Christmas star," Ellie explained. "It's missing from the town tree." The old man chuckled softly. "Well, you'd better come in out of the cold. There's a story you'll want to hear, and maybe a bit of magic left in this old cottage yet." As the children stepped inside, the promise of answers and adventure warmed them as much as the fire that crackled in the hearth. The children stepped into the cottage, savoring the sudden warmth. The old man ushered them to a circle of chairs near the fire and handed them steaming mugs of cocoa. The scent of cinnamon and pine filled the cozy room, and every corner brimmed with trinkets, wooden carvings, snow globes, and hand-painted ornaments that looked as old as the town itself. "My name's Mr. Whitaker," the old man said, settling into his rocking chair. "And I've lived on this edge of Pinehill longer than most. The Christmas star, you see, is more than just a pretty thing. It's a piece of the town's heart, a symbol of hope, kindness, and the wishes of every child who's ever gazed up at it." Emma sipped her cocoa, listening intently. "Do you know what happened to it?" Mr. Whitaker nodded, his eyes twinkling. "The star's magic is strongest when the town spirit is bright. But sometimes, when people forget to care for one another, or when hope dims, even a little, the star dims too. Last night, a gust of wind, stronger than any in years, swept down from the mountains. It might have been just a storm, or it might have been the star's way of asking for help." Ben frowned. "So it just flew away?" Mr. Whitaker smiled. "Not exactly. Sometimes magic draws things toward those who need them most, or those who can help restore its light." Ellie looked around the cottage. "Did the star come here?" The old man nodded. "Part of it did. I found this on my doorstep this morning." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a silver shard, the missing piece from the star's frame. "But the rest is still out there, somewhere in the woods. Maybe it's waiting for someone with hope in their heart to find it." Lucas stood up. "We'll keep looking. We can't let Pinehill's Christmas be ruined." Mr. Whitaker smiled, his eyes shining. That's the spirit. But take care. The woods hold more than snow on nights like these. The magic that protects the star also tests those who seek it. Stay together, trust each other, and remember, the true light of Christmas comes from within. The children finished their cocoa and thanked Mr. Whitaker, who handed them the silver shard. As they stepped out into the cold, the sky above seemed brighter. They held the piece of the star in their mittened hands, ready to continue their search, knowing now that the real test was yet to come. Back in the woods, the wind picked up, swirling snow through the trees. The children pressed on, deeper into the heart of the storm, determined to find the missing pieces and bring the star, and Pinehill's hope, home again. Snow whipped around the children as they left Mr. Whitaker's cottage, the silver shard of the star safely tucked in Ellie's coat pocket. The woods felt different now, alive with the faint tingling of magic and the challenge of the search. Emma's red yarn markers guided them back to the trail, but soon the wind grew fierce, erasing their footprints and tugging at scarves and hats. "We have to stick together," Ellie called, gripping Ben's hand as the group pressed on. Branches creaked and snow tumbled from above, making every step harder. Suddenly, a gust stronger than the rest swept through the trees, and in the confusion, Ben's hand slipped from Ellie's. He stumbled, tumbling down a small embankment hidden under the snow. "Ben!" Ellie shouted, scrambling after him. Emma and Lucas followed, sliding carefully to where Ben lay, dusted in powder but grinning bravely. "I'm okay, look!" He pointed to a hollow in the base of an ancient pine. There, glinting in the dim afternoon light, was a cluster of shining fragments, pieces of the missing star, scattered like treasure on fresh snow. Among them lay the star's golden center, etched with swirling patterns, and still faintly glowing. Ellie's breath caught. "We found it!" Together, the children gathered the fragments, piecing them together in the snow. The star was nearly whole, but one piece was missing, the silver shard Mr. Whitaker had given them. Ellie fitted it carefully into place, and as she did, a warm, gentle light surged from the star, casting sparkles onto the snowy branches. Suddenly, the storm seemed to ease. The wind calmed, the sky brightened, and the woods fell into a peaceful hush. The children looked at each other in awe. "It's beautiful," Emma whispered. Lucas grinned. "We have to get it back to town." With the star cradled carefully in their arms, the children started back through the woods, following the new path of light the star seemed to cast ahead of them. Behind, the snow sparkled brighter, as if the magic of Christmas itself was lighting their way home. With the restored Christmas star glowing gently in their hands, Ellie, Ben, Emma, and Lucas began their trek back toward Pinehill. The storm had calmed, and a hush fell over the woods, broken only by their excited chatter and the crunch of snow beneath their boots. The star's soft light illuminated their way, casting a magical path through the trees. As they retraced their steps, the children found Emma's red yarn markers still fluttering on the branches. Each marker felt like a victory, a sign they were on the right track. The journey wasn't easy, though. Snowdrifts forced them to take detours, and once Ben nearly lost his footing on an icy patch, but Lucas caught his arm in time. Even so, the children's spirits soared, buoyed by the star's gentle glow. When they reached the edge of the woods, they could see the lights of Pinehill twinkling in the distance, and the faint sound of bells carried on the frosty air. But as they hurried toward the town square, they heard a muffled cry for help. The children stopped, scanning the snow-covered field. There, caught in a shallow ditch, was Mrs. Thompson, who had slipped while searching for the star. Ellie and Lucas rushed to her side, helping her up and brushing snow from her coat. "Thank goodness you children came by," she said, relief in her voice. "I was starting to think I'd be there until spring." Emma smiled. "We couldn't have done it without your advice, Mrs. Thompson. We found the star." Mrs. Thompson's eyes widened with joy as she saw the glowing ornament. "You did it! Hurry, let's get back to the square." The whole town is waiting. With Mrs. Thompson in tow, the children hurried the last stretch to Pinehill. As they approached, townspeople gathered in the square turned to watch. Hope rekindled in their eyes. Ellie held the star high for all to see, its light shining brighter than ever. Cheers and applause erupted, echoing off the snowy rooftops. The mayor stepped forward, tears glimmering in her eyes. "You've brought Pinehill's heart home. Thank you, all of you." The adventure had tested their courage and kindness, but as the children stood in the glow of the Christmas star, they knew they'd forever be part of the town's story. That evening, as darkness settled gently over Pinehill, the town square glowed with anticipation. Families huddled together beneath a sky ablaze with stars, their faces lit by lanterns and the hope that had been restored. The great Christmas tree stood tall in the center, its branches heavy with ornaments, but its top waited, bare, expectant, for the star's return. Ellie, Ben, Emma, and Lucas, still dusted with snow, were invited to the front of the crowd. The mayor knelt beside them, her voice carrying across the hush. "Tonight, these brave children have reminded us all of the power of hope, kindness, and the magic that lives in every heart. Will you do the honor?" With trembling hands, Ellie and Ben lifted the star, its light now a steady, radiant glow. The mayor helped them climb the small ladder, and as they placed the star atop the tree, a hush fell over the crowd. For a moment, all was silent. Then the star blazed with a warmth that lit the entire square, its light reflecting in every joyful eye. The people of Pinehill cheered, hugging one another and singing carols, their voices echoing through the snowy night. Anna and David wrapped their children in proud embraces, while Grandma May, tears in her eyes, squeezed Ellie's hand. "You made this a Christmas to remember, darling." Later, inside the cabin with their new friends, the Carters shared stories and laughter by the fire. Mrs. Thompson brought out extra cinnamon rolls, and Mr. Whitaker, having come to town for the celebration, winked at the children as he handed them a tiny snow globe, a keepsake to remember their adventure. As midnight approached, Ellie glanced out the frosty window at the tree in the distance, the star shining brighter than ever. She closed her eyes and made a wish, her heart full of gratitude for family, friends, and the magic of hope. In Pinehill, it was said that whoever looked upon the Christmas star with a true wish in their heart would see it come true. And that year, as the town drifted to sleep beneath a blanket of peace, everyone knew that the greatest magic came from coming together, lighting the darkness with love, bravery, and the promise that no matter what storms may come, hope would always find its way home.